The culture of a school system needs to be one that embraces a constantly changing world. If we truly believe that we're cultivating students who are college and career ready, then it's our obligation as leaders to ensure that the learning that is taking place in our schools remains cutting edge and constantly adapts to the ever-changing needs of our society. Not only do the tools and resources that we use in our classrooms need to mirror those used outside of school, but we must be committed to building a culture where all of us model lifelong learning and ongoing professional growth. We must advocate for cutting-edge resources, but it isn't enough to just put technology into our schools. We have to effectively utilize these resources to personalize learning, break down traditional walls, expand collaboration and communication, develop learning networks, and ensure that we move towards true 21st century instructional models. This shift needs to happen throughout our system. Each and every staff member needs to see his or her role in embracing forward movement. Change can be intimidating for some. However, it's our job as a leader to help our staff feel safe to take risks and to embrace the positive energy of being uncomfortable. If we aren't uncomfortable, we aren't growing. Last year, when I began my work at McKay-Daub, I discovered that even though the term technology was in the title of the school, there was still much work to do in building the type of culture that would sustain the continued growth towards true 21st century learning. While all could recite back to me the mission and vision statements, it was obvious that much work was needed in order to truly understand that what was happening in our classrooms was not necessarily mirroring the statements posted on our webpage. Recognition of this disparity was the first step in moving forward. Once a school recognizes gaps and areas of need, they're better able to focus energy towards improvement. In our case, we took time to analyze academic data, collect and analyze perceptual data, and look at our school through the eyes of a child. Once we collectively realized what our targets were, you could feel the cultural shift begin to take hold. We knew where we were headed, and we knew what it should look like, and we supported each other in our continued growth. As an administrator, it was my job to make risk-taking safe for my staff and to reinforce that we're learning from and with each other and from and with our students. We regularly celebrate this forward movement, encouraging one another, building a community of learners. I've heard multiple visitors say that they can feel the difference in culture when they walk into our building, something that they definitely didn't feel before this had taken hold. This same model can be applied systemically. Once we build and buy into a common vision, then data and initiatives can be viewed through the lens of whether or not they support attainment of our goal. If we, as Washington County leaders, truly believe that instruction needs to change in our schools, then we need to make a conscious effort to model from the top of our system all the way through each level of staff what it is we want to see in our classrooms. If we believe that students should be collaborating and communicating with others to solve problems, then we too need to use technological tools to better collaborate and communicate with one another. If we want to see students connecting with field experts via FaceTime, then we as leaders should be bringing our experts in to work with us as administrators via FaceTime, GoToMeetings, etc. If we expect dialogue to continue outside the confines of our traditional classroom walls via discussion boards, then administrators should be doing the same. School leaders need to change the face of professional development for teachers. If we expect student-centered, personalized instruction in our classrooms, then school-based professional development should be personalized and teacher-centered, and central office-based professional development should be personalized and administrator-centered. If we want our students to be excited about learning, our teachers must be excited about teaching, and our leaders must be excited to lead. If we don't shift and grow our practices, our instruction will continue to languish in traditional, antiquated models. A vision encapsulates the big picture of where we are headed. Innovation must be embraced in order to continuously grow practices. We can never be done learning. I remember an assignment during my administrative internship years ago where we were asked to calculate the percentages of time spent on different types of tasks during our administrator's day, with the percentage identified as professional learning being significantly lower than the other tasks done. It's our responsibility as educators to immerse ourselves in professional learning networks, both here and in our county, as well as throughout the state, country, and world. One tool that I use is Twitter, with Flipboard as my aggregator. Within Twitter, I'm part of a local PLN, including my own school, as well as through national groups such as Connected Principals. I spend time daily reading current news and educational trends, sharing, questioning, and celebrating. I believe that we are responsible for learning and growing together, and as such, I maintain a blog and connect via multiple social media tools the work that we are doing locally. I believe it's my job to model this type of behavior for my students and teachers. In addition, we need to look for connections between schools, counties, and other states. As our nation moves towards common curriculum and assessments, it behooves us to merge forces and work towards the greater good. Why invent the wheel locally when we can create and share with others both locally and nationally? As one of the first schools to put a one-to-one iPad initiative into place at the elementary level, I was in a place where there was no one locally going through what we were going through at McKay Dowd. Relationships were formed, site visits took place, research was shared, and collaboration supported the work being done at our school. In reaching out to others, we built partnerships with Clinton Learning Solutions, who donated hardware, and for the first 6 months of school had a coach in our building every Friday working side by side with teachers. Collaborations were formed with other school districts, leaders in the field of instructional technology, and locally, ideas went back and forth between teachers and administrators working to build one-to-one environments or bringing iPads into instruction. While I was unable to find someone locally who had done what we were doing, I was able to connect with other principals from around the country who were a year ahead of me in the process, and I was able to learn from their model. Opportunities for advocating must also be embraced, whether hosting a local board member at one site or engaging in dialogue with legislators. Effective leaders create and support a vision for the future and do all they can to move that vision forward. Leaders must practice what they preach. If we want our system to be cutting edge and globally connected, then each of us needs to stay cutting edge and be globally connected.